Right, so both of these are now wrapped and very pleased with them. I think they've turned out very nicely, and I like the fact that the grain wraps round these. You know, it is obvious that it's wrapped. I don't think it is. It's a good compromise when the cabinets are that far gone, and it's really not worth re-veneering them or anything. I think this is a great alternative, and a lot of people could do this. You know, bit of filler, sand them back, take your time with the wrapping and the cutting, especially the cutting, and you can end up with something that, you know, really takes a bit of looking at in detail to tell it's not wood. I think most people will be happy with that. I love it. I think it's great. Veneering is you know, a fantastic finish, but this is good. It's cheap. It actually helps the speaker, certainly from an air tightness point of view. All of these joints, they're all sealed. The wood's sealed. They're protected from moisture as well. So it's got a few bonuses really, and there's so many different finishes you can get, and it's pretty easy to apply. You know, you don't need many tools. Definitely need a hot air gun. That is a must. Scalpel knife, squeegee, that sort of thing. But yeah, mega pleased with those. So crossover time. So now. I've just reclothed, I should say, this cover, and yeah, apart from a few bits of wood dust and stuff on there that was on here, yeah, that's come out really well, so very pleased with that. Stapled round the back as it would have been originally. So yeah, the only thing I've got to do is stick on the badge, but I don't particularly like the badges. There we are. They're very basic, nothing special about them, and they're just glued on the cloth. So I think I'll keep them off at the moment, because yeah, like I say, I don't particularly like them. I might try and find some nicer looking Rogers badges, because there are some nice plastic moulded ones with a silver color, sort of silver paint on the top, rather than just this kind of stamped piece of aluminium and screen printed writing. Yeah, don't know. Anyway, that's done. I'm not going to show you me doing these. Go and watch some of my other videos if you want to see how I recloth covers. I've done loads of them, so they're fairly straightforward. Right, so the rear covers have now had a coat of satin black, and you see I masked up the sticker on the back, which has got the serial numbers and everything else, all the information. Couple of new holes there for the binding posts I'm putting in. Still keep the XLR connection. So yeah, they're kind of ready to put back in when I've done the crossovers even. So I've soldered on new lead wires, or new cables, onto all of these. The T27, I've kept the original cables or lead wires coming off the front. I'm not going to muck around with that. There is just no point. So twisted together and soldered, and then heat shrunk, and then another piece of heat shrink to hold it all together. The HF 1300s, these are really handy. Having those solder tags on the back means you don't introduce a load of heat to the voice coil. So yeah, new high purity copper wire on those. So yeah, all done. So they can go back in. So the tweeter and super tweeter are both in, and I've just put 2 cable cleats there just to tidy the cable in from them, and then the woofer goes through there as well. So we've got a nice loom here, which we'll solder onto the crossover when done. So yeah, I'm going to put the foam back in this, but I know it's not factory, but I'm just going to put a piece of polyfill over this, just to hold all that down. A couple of staples, that's all. Yeah, so that's all I've done. Just cut a little bit like that, just to cover everything up, protect it, and also a little bit around the base port, just to take away some of the port noise, as in resonance from that. So the foam can go back in. Then it's just the back panel with the crossover. Right, so both crossovers are recapped and new resistors. The inductors are all glued back down again. Yeah, sorry I didn't film doing it, but it was a bit of a pig really with all those resistors. They were quite a lot bigger than the originals, and yeah, fitting them on there was quite tricky. So it's just one of those things, I just cracked on with it. So yeah, but it's all done. So Solon polycaps and some decent resistors, high power, much high power rated than the originals. So yeah, it was a bit of a pig. And here and there I had to drill new holes, and then from behind pick up the circuit board traces. So yeah, I still may change these iron core inductors. I'm not too sure yet. I should do, because that would be quite an improvement. I will see if the export monitor air core inductors are the same values. If they are, then that's a great swap. If not, I will possibly order some up. I don't know yet. But yeah, sorry I didn't film it, but that's the finished product. That's the crossovers soldered back in, back on the rear panel, and ready to drop back into the speaker. So yeah, these sorry I didn't film the rebuilding of these, but you know, you've seen me rebuild crossovers before, recapping them. But yeah, it's surprising how many resistors are used in this circuit. Yeah, there's quite a few there. I mean, this sort of follows the same design as the LS36 component value wise. They're very, very similar. And that had the big auto transformer in there for attenuating the different drivers, and we certainly have resistors in here doing that. So yeah, quite a bit going on there. Interesting to see these big 82 ohm resistors bridging the two inductors on the woofer. Quite interesting really, but yeah, all recapped, soldered back in, back it goes. Right, so I'm making up some stands for my studio ones, and having done the measurements, you're kind of better listening to these slightly above tweeter axis. So the stands I'm going to make reasonably short. I don't want the speakers up high in the air, and also a lot of the stands and things you'll see the Rogers LS36 export monitors Studio 1s on are actually quite low, and there is a reason for that. So just a plyboard top and bottom, and some, they're 30 centimeters long, so one in each corner. Simple as that really. So I'm going to sand them all up, glue everything together, and then spray it black and yacht varnish it. So yeah, cracking on with that at the moment. They're all glued and screwed, so I'll leave those to dry overnight and then sand them all back properly, spray them black, yacht varnish them, stick the spikes on them and everything else, and yeah, we got a pair of stands. All good.